Welcome, everyone, to Consciously Connecting Humanity 360. My name is Pam Dye, and I'm here with the other members of the team, Sifu Lester Holmes and Dan Tracy, along with our guest today, Sifu Chris Burnett. You're probably wondering, what is CCH 360? It is a partnership of people using martial arts techniques and other health-related arts to explore and share healing modalities using personal tools and processes useful for self-care and healthy personal development. Sifu Lester Holmes, founder of CCH 360 and Tai Chi Connection, teaches out of Dalzell, South Carolina. I hope I have that right. Myself, Pam Dye, I'm founder of Forever Tai Chi, and I teach out of Freeport, New York. And Dan Tracy is founder of Martial Arts in Motion, LLC, and Gator Tai Chi, teaching in season in Titusville, Florida. Otherwise, he's residing in Wisconsin. Today, we're happy to have Sifu Chris Burnett as our speaker. Chris is no stranger to the martial arts world. He is the founder of Green Dragon Tai Chi in Cleveland, Ohio. Chris is certified as a master level instructor by the American Tai Chi and Qigong Association and is trained in martial arts and wrestling since 1977. In 2013, he was able to dedicate his life to martial arts full-time. He previously trained martial arts styles like, and I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Ak Mei, Shaolin Five Animals, Yang style, and Chen style Tai Chi Chuan. Having trained in empty hand forms and various weapons, he founded Green Dragon Tai Chi and Qigong in 2014. Chris has expanded his knowledge working with energy and became a student of medical Qigong and is now certified as a master clinical Qigong, master of clinical Qigong. Sorry about that. Recently, Sifu Chris embarked on another journey, learning BJJ. So right now, I'm going to turn this over to you, Chris, so you can expand on your experience here.
Okay, yeah. So, like you said, I've been doing martial arts for quite a while. Not always constantly, though. There have been times when I wasn't actively participating in classes, but I still continue my training with friends, sparring partners, my brother, things like that. All right. So over the years, I've done different styles. Actually, I always tell this to people, when Tai Chi was first presented to me, I didn't have any interest in it because I was doing harder styles, faster stuff. And I thought it was a little bit too slow, right? So it took me years later to realize that there was really something to Tai Chi. I met a master who was very hard to move. As you all know, the Tai Chi consists of a lot of rooting and grounding. And so I was able to, sorry about my phone, it's people calling me, just took it off the hook. So Tai Chi consists of a lot of rooting and grounding. And so once I felt him and I couldn't move him, then I realized that there was something deeper to Tai Chi than just the beauty and the health aspect of it. And so that's what made me actively pursue it. And then once I did that, it opened up a lot of things for me, not only martial arts wise, a whole different philosophy of martial arts, but also energetically being able to feel energy, things like that. So yeah, it's been a great journey.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask a question right on. That green dragon word keeps coming up, and I'm just curious, where did it come from? What it's all about? Tell us a little bit about the green dragon. What does that mean to you today? Does it mean the same thing that it meant when you first originated that name? Tell us a little bit about green dragon.
No, it doesn't. So it's funny. So when I fight sometimes or sparred, some people would compare me to like a dragon. And of course, a dragon is a mythical creature, but it moves through water, through clouds. It can be high, it can be low, right? It can be steam or it can be hard. So dragon is like hard and soft. It can disappear, reappear. So because of some of the techniques that I would use, people kind of, would kind of joke around and say, "Oh, you look like a dragon." And then when the time came to name my company, I was thinking about dragon, and first thing popped in my head was blue dragon or black dragon. Sorry, black dragon. Of course, that was exploited in the 70s, a lot of black dragons, right? So I didn't want to go that route. And then I did think of Blue Dragon. Of course, our friend would, you know, we'd be battling names, but I didn't know Mr. Love back then. So, but I came up with green because I thought about the earth, and you know, they say that when you're green, you kind of, you know, you don't litter, you do certain things that won't harm the earth. So you're actually in accordance with nature, and so that's how I got the name. And then later on in my medical qigong classes, I learned that the green dragon actually represents the hun or the liver, and it's like a spiritual aspect to it. So it was kind of a lucky chance that I named it that.
Green. I was thinking of the green also because I just think of you and how you continuously keep growing, you know, and all. And green represents growth in my eyes.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
Interesting.
Chris and I met some time back, and he actually came down to South Florida and trained with me a little bit, and then he ended up hosting me, and we built some beautiful workshops up at his place in Cleveland. Really nice. And the brotherhood just took off from there. So thank you for being here. Dan,
Oh,
go ahead.
love you like a brother.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, well, we were actually in Ohio, my wife and I, last week. Both of us grew up in the Akron area.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and my brother-in-law just retired from teaching at Cleveland Heights Middle School, I think it is. So we're also down for that. And
Yeah.
I think you're pretty close to that with your location. So I wonder if you could explain your locations and how you work your brick and mortar business.
Yeah, so I'm right down the road from where you're talking about. Cleveland Heights is like right down the road. Right now I'm in South Euclid. And I originally started in Mayfield Heights, which is where I live. And I started out with a partnership with the high school and the recreation centers there. And we kind of built up a nice following regime. I would say from 2014 to about probably the last 2 years, I operated in and out of there, the parks. I've also taught different things like places like the Cleveland Orchestra. I do guest speakers for Case Western Reserve. I'm all around Cleveland doing different events, teaching different things all the time. I continuously work with like community centers for elderly, people with disabilities, things like that, youth. So I'm busy throughout the whole day. Like I'm in my, like you said, the brick and mortar most times, but then I have to leave in the middle of the day, go do a class somewhere else at a community center, come back, you know, maybe go home, eat a little bit, and then I'm back on the road. So traveling a lot. Here though, this is where I am now. It was originally, it's still called Hillcrest Academy of Goshen Jiu-Jitsu. The person who I bought it from, their family had founded this school, and his wife took some Tai Chi lessons with me. And so when he was ready to retire, he wanted to sell the school. She kept telling him, call Chris, he, you know, see if he wants it. And so eventually, after trying several different people, he wound up settling on me. And I was like, sure, let's do it. And so we still run the Goshen Jiu-Jitsu program here. And I'm lucky to have like the black belts who were in that system to continue to teach that. So I just kind of monitor that one. And every now and then I'll join in and watch, but it's really not my style. Only because I only have so much time, and all the other martial arts I've done over the past, you know, it can get to be a bit much, you know. So I did bring my Tai Chi program here, and we do that. We have like 2 Tai Chi classes on Mondays and Wednesdays, one on Sunday. So we have one in the morning at 10 a.m. and then one at 6:30 p.m. And then Sundays, we do a different style. We do Chin style. So we're doing Yang style Mondays and Wednesdays, and then we're doing Chin style on Sundays, which is like a 2-hour class. Now, in between that, I'm doing, I just got certified as a Gracie Jiu-Jitsu certified training center. So in between that, I'm teaching combatives classes, which is kind of like their beginner, like white to blue program, or actually to combatives belt. And so building that program up, I'm about to start another kids program as well under the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu system. So just continuing to grow, add things, and I really want to service the community. One of my goals is to also learn their what they call GST, Gracie Survival Tactics. in order to work with the police department. Neighboring police departments can come and train. And one of the things that we find is that the more training that they have, then the less they are to, kind of resort to, lethal means of restraint or, other things that can result in death. So when they don't, when they have the skill level to control without brutal force, then it's better for the community. So that's one of my goals, to try and partner with them in the future.
That's good.
Yeah.
Let me ask one question here. So, in regards to your Tai Chi classes, I'm just curious in regard to your programs. The students that are being attracted towards your programs, is there any like age demographics or anything that you notice out of what's going on with that?
Yeah, so in our morning class, we actually have more of an older demographic. They're still very flexible, very strong in terms of the things they can do. And when they're not, then we have seated classes, things like that. We can direct them towards, if that's the case, that they may need it. But the older crowd in the morning, because they're not working, they want to come in, they want to, they like to do things early, get things out the way. Kind of like myself, I like to do things early, get it done, so that way I know my training's done for the day, and then when life throws other stuff at me, then at least I know I did my training. Now, the afternoon or the evening class at 6:30, we have all ages. Actually, I'm blessed to have like young people in my class. I've got at least 3 or 4 young people. And when I say young, I'm talking like one girl is 19. There's another guy in his 20s, somebody else in their 30s. But then we also have, going up into 40s, 50s, things like that as well. So,
And they're doing Tai Chi?
yes, doing Tai Chi. Yeah. Yeah.
More toward the yang or chin style or?
That's the yang style. That's the yang style. Now the chin style, probably everybody is at least 40 in that class. And you think it'd be the other way around, right?
Yeah,
Chin style
exactly.
is yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It'd be the opposite. And one
Uh-huh.
more thing, and I'm gonna pass the mic to Dan. Medical qigong. For a person that knows nothing about medical qigong, what could you share with our audience here in regards to that?
Yeah, so a big part of it is some people might think of it as woo-woo, or it's kind of hard to believe if you haven't experienced it. But a big part of it is actually no touch, where you can actually scan a person's body field and kind of feel what's going on, where there's blockages. You can feel where there's deficiencies, things that may need to be removed so they can have a smoother chi flow. So that's that one side of it. Now it also involves nutrition, and I know you're big on nutrition, but a big part of it is, what are you eating, right? What are you putting into your body, and how is your schedule? What type of things are you doing in your life that can disrupt your chi? So basically, it's about resolving any, I would say, blockages in terms of not only energetically, but things in your life that would affect you in an adverse way. So looking at your sleep schedule, looking at, I already mentioned, the nutrition, looking at the people you keep, right? So the energy around you, what are you absorbing? So when we think about consuming things, a lot of times we think about food, but you also consume when you watch things, the company you keep, the things around you. So just being aware of everything that's affecting your system as a whole. So that, going back to holistic, the word holistic, right? So, and then it's also learning about the organs, how they kind of correspond and relate to each other. We find that the organs have the function that they do when we think about Western medicine, but in Chinese medicine, they also have a little bit extra depth to it. Like they can store different emotions, and each organ has the propensity to store a different one than the other ones. And then, when you have traumas, they can be trapped in the body, things like that. So it's also a mental component too, of learning what traumas you have based on how things are feeling, getting you to dive deep and say, okay, why is this stuck in my liver? What type of anger am I holding? What is it? And then going back into looking at life events and say, oh yeah, I was abused, or this was that, but dad or mom was abused, or whatever it is. And then learning to go back into those memories and look at them from an objective point of view, and trying to compassionately understand the situation so that you can let go of any emotional attachment and be able to resolve those issues within yourself. So it's a little bit in depth when you think of it like that, because some things are hard to forgive and things like that. But when you hold on to things, it only affects you. It doesn't affect other people, right? So
Chris, that
that's
sounds kind of personal. So do you do a one-on-one or do you do a workshops or how do you share that?
mostly it's one-on-one. So if it's one-on-one, then I teach people about good breathing, good posture, Wuji posture, things like that. And then I would talk to them about their lifestyle. We would take notes. We would look into, maybe changing. Depends on what they come to you for. Sometimes people come to you for energetic cleansing, or sometimes people come because they have blockages or their shoulder hurts or whatever it is. There's, ligaments, whatever it could be. And then we get to the bottom of that by researching. So it is personal in those aspects. And then we would, put the person on the table, what we call flat palm scanning the energetic field, and then seeing we become clear and energized. And then, keeping in touch with the person. How do they feel the next day? How do they feel as the energy works its way through their system? Things like that. When it's a group, I teach them things like grounding. How do you ground? How do you stay centered? Same thing, starting with the breathing, show them maybe some good Qigong techniques that they can take care of themselves. So, and that's another thing too. When I'm treating a person one-on-one, I don't want to always treat that person. I want to teach them as we're going so that they don't need me in the future. They can take care of themselves with some good Qigong practice, good healthy eating, things like that.
What was the trigger for you to start your medical qigong?
Interesting. So, as I mentioned, I came from the martial arts side of things. Um, didn't really have interest in the Tai Chi. So in the Tai Chi classes, I began to feel this energy like between the hands, and it's flowing, and I'm like, wow, this is cool. There's really something to this. And so that got me into Qigong. Now, many years later, my wife was looking up actually, she went to dinner with someone from Canada, and they had traveled to PA, and they met this Qigong teacher there, and they said he was amazing. They bragged about him, and they were telling her you should go meet this guy. And when she presented it to me, and we looked him up online, and it just felt right. It was like, yeah, let's go. And normally there would be a little bit of hesitation on my part, and it was a little bit pricey. So I'm like, normally, but I was like, no, let's go. And when we went, the first thing we kind of did was one of the things that blew my mind or opened up the field for me was feeling each other's Wei Chi, feeling that when some people call it an aura, but from across the room, just walking with your hand open and walking slowly towards the person and just kind of feeling their energetic field. And he said it in such a way that he knew we were going to feel. He was like, okay, this is what you're going to do next. You're going to stand up. You're going to walk towards them. You're going to do like this. You're going to feel the Wei Chi, energetic feel. And you're like, and I'm like, how do I know I can do that? Right? I'm going to do what? I'm going to feel the energy field. But sure enough, when I walked and did it, it was there, plain as day. And so when I teach it to people, I go about it the same way. I just believe they're going to feel it. And I say I have about a 95% success rate of when I try to get people to feel each other's energy, they can feel it. The other 5%, they may be too tense in the hands. They may be too tense up here. They may not accept it, too much questioning. But that's kind of what, triggered me to go deeper into it, was just all these sensations that I was experiencing. And so that was the catalyst. Yeah.
That's pretty interesting. Do you do that online? And I know you do it in person, but have you been successful online with teaching
Teaching
medical
online,
qigong, the medical
yes.
qigong?
Yes, I've had private people who would, ask for lessons online, and those have been pretty good. Yeah, I would have them maybe get a partner or just teach them like I would in a workshop. Just teach them the breathing, the proper standing, the certain qigong exercises, grounding, clearing, all those things.
Chris, how would people get a hold of you, and what's the best way to have a contact and understand what you do?
So my email is cburnett@greendragontaichi.com, or you can go to the website. Website is just greendragontaichi.com. Phone
Pretty
numbers
simple.
there. Yeah, everything is there. Yeah, just call me, email me. I'd be glad to explain. There's also, if you go on the website, there's a couple of free courses if you look under online courses. One is Tai Chi basics, one is Qigong basics, and I've even got 8-section brocade up there, the way that we do it. So there's stuff out there that people can to get them started. And they might even be all they need really is some basics, some good breathing and some posture, that would energize them for the day. But
You have,
yeah,
you have a Patreon page also.
I do. Yes, I do.
Yes.
I think it's the same name, right? Green Dragon,
I don't
Patriot.
know. I think so. Probably.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, we thank you very much, Chris, for taking the time to talk to us.
yeah.
So for us, you can find us on Facebook, Consciously Connecting Humanity 360. We have a YouTube channel, CCH 360, with over 40 videos. We do have a website, consciouslyconnectinghumanity.com. And coming soon, we will have a Patreon program.
Nice.
We thank you very much for having us, having you.
Yeah, yeah.
I know your time is pressed now because you've got to go out there and teach.
You know what, Pam? And the time just flew by. I wish I had more time. It's great seeing you
Yeah,
guys.
I know.
I'm gonna dive deeper into just send me the links. I'm gonna look deeper into some other videos you guys have done. I know you do great
Yeah.
work.
Well,
I loved
thank
having
you.
Lester Holmes and you guys come out. Yeah, Sifu Lester, he's got a lot of good stuff. When I watch his videos, there's so much that I can see that I don't think everybody can see. But the one I was watching today was about kind of suspending the crown as you're kind of reaching down, and so you have that yin and yang, that splitting energy in the body.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just little stuff like that that makes for a good quality Tai Chi practice.
Exactly. Exactly. We love them. We love everybody.
Yes, indeed.
Love to share
All
too.
right. Take care, everybody. Hope to talk soon.
Okay. Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Chris. Take care.
You're welcome.